people don't care about what you know until they know that you actually care. So I never knew about King Von, and no, I am not promoting his music. However, someone may see this and they may want to listen to his music, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't. However, I didn't know about King Von until I moved to Chicago. And yes, King Von, he was unalived. He was unalived. And I believe his neighborhood, people from his neighborhood, they wanted to commemorate him. So they painted a mural of him and put him on, on the wall that's right across the street from O Block. For those who don't know, O Block is probably considered one of the most dangerous project buildings here in Chicago. We live about maybe 5 minutes away, right? So I would often drive by and I would pass the mural, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know until I seen something on the news where they were removing the mural or they were painting over it because they felt like this was um, a way to continue to perpetuate, or I don't think I'm saying the right word, but to encourage crime in an area. Okay. So then that made me more interested because, you know, the same government, right? So we had a president many, many years ago who had invited one of the biggest gang leaders and gang founders in Chicago. He invited him to the White House. In some way, somehow, I think this might be the same gang leader who worked closely with Fidel Castro to try to overthrow the US government. They found weapons and things as such, and that this person was going to use to try to do away with the government. But y'all can look that up, or I'll say allegedly, right? And then I also feel like here it is, we have the Democratic, you have the Democratic Party, you have the Republican Party. One is blue, one is red. Is it a coincidence that the Crips are blue and the blood is red? The Bloods. But anyway, that's just my take on that. But anyway, let me kind of go back to this. So, I was interested to find out about King Von. Found out that he's a rapper. He's no longer with us. I looked up, I went on my YouTube music and typed in King Von, and the song that came up was this song, Took Her to the O. Okay, and no, it's not a Christian song. It is not a Christian song. And the lyrics aren't positive. However, he's a great storyteller. He's a great storyteller. In this song, he's talking about how he met this woman or met this female from Kankakee, and it was already in his mind that they were going to do some things. They was going to have sex. So he said he bought some dope and he took her to the store. And I think and he told her, he was like, listen, you're going to have to get a lift if you be in there longer than what, he's expecting her to be in. And then I guess this guy pulled up, and I think the guy was her ex-boyfriend or her boyfriend, and he started beating on her. And so then King Von took law into his own hand, and he ended up unaliving this individual. So he's telling these stories, and that's pretty much a lot of rappers who have actually been in the trenches there and are from areas such as places like this, right? But the thing about it is, here it is, these places are funded and ran by the government. And with it being funded and ran by the government, it looked like an actual prison. When you drive past O Block and even some other project buildings, I wouldn't say all of them, because one of the areas my husband would patrol, like when he was still working in law enforcement, it was the Dearborns. Dearborns is also very, very, it's not safe over there. However, I feel like it's safer because it's open, meaning you can walk in, walk out. You don't have to go through this turnstile thing like how they have at the or O Block, where you have to go through this turnstile like you're going into a grocery store or you're going into like a football or a baseball game and you have to walk through this thing, right? and then there's only one way in and one way out, and then there's a huge fence. So people can be essentially trapped in there. And here it is. This is a facility. This is an environment. This is a neighborhood, or this is a project building that is funded by government funding for individuals who are considered low income. And when you come from a place of poverty, I believe that some of these rappers they talk about their life, they talk about their struggle, as a lot of us already know. But then again, it goes back to what I was saying from the beginning, that okay, is it coincidental that the president of the United States of America invited one of the top gang leaders and gang founders from Chicago? He invited him to the White House. That person declined the offer, conspired with Fidel Castro, was able to get some weapons to use that against the United States government. But yet, here it is, these people who are being raised in these project buildings don't even realize that they are, I mean, essentially, I believe we're all considered owned by the government per se. Of course, us who are believers say that our residency, or we're kingdom citizens and stuff as such, but right now we're talking about the earthly realm. We're not talking about the spiritual realm. But you know what? Actually, we are talking about the spiritual realm, because everything that's happening is spiritual. Everything around us is spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings. And see, and it makes even more sense to know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and wickedness in high places, right? There's wickedness and evilness in all places, okay? Because again, we are fighting an unseen battle. And see, and these individuals don't even realize that they're being utilized by Satan to continue to kill, steal, and destroy, right? To bring havoc and chaos, right? Now, again, I'm not promoting the music, but I can understand from a different perspective. You put them in these apartment buildings. You don't even maintain the buildings for them properly. It's run down, it's broken down. People are afraid to go there. But then, in the same sense, there are abandoned, what do you call it, crates. So we have trains that come through, and these trains are carrying these crates. And then do you think that it's ironic that a crate just so happened to just break down, or remain steady in an overly crime ridden neighborhood full of weapons, full of guns? Like, that's not coincidence. And like I said, he's very graphic in this song and all of his songs that he's talking about. But again, people don't care about what you know until they know that you care. And how are you able to care for someone when you're not willing to understand, you know, where they come from, or why they're responding or reacting the way that they are reacting? Like, you know, here it is, you have this government ran a building where you're around other people who are also low income, so the only means of survival is like, you know what, I'm gonna get it how I live, or I'm gonna do the best that I can to try to survive and protect my own. So these kids who have these weapons, because I used to work in law enforcement myself back in Florida, these kids, they got these weapons and things like that. It's because they're afraid. They're afraid. They're hurting. They may even be hungry, because here it is, you gave this family, this mom who have maybe 8 kids, you giving her $1,000 worth of food stamps. But see, now she's selling those food stamps to, you know, maybe supply.